So this kind of living room area here is actually my office, and for many years this was the Rocky Mountain Bureau of the Washington Post. Of course, that doesn't exist anymore. Newspapers can't afford bureaus anymore. But when there was one, I was it, and this was the location of the Washington Post in Denver. And like every office I've ever had, we have this wall of our kids, um, which I've always had everywhere. These I think we got at the Colorado State Fair about 20 years ago or so when the kids were pretty little. And then this door, this old door is my desk. It's on a couple of file cabinets. And then over here are my is where I keep my records. So here's what I do. Whenever I start a new book, I buy a file cabinet. And when you start, it's empty. And then you start gathering stuff, and there's one folder in the file cabinet. And here's the file cabinet. Here's the Healing of America. The whole thing is just jammed. I can't even get it all in. This is overflow. That's what comes when you write a book. You just gather lots and lots and lots of information. So anybody who complains that my book is too long, hey, it could have been much longer if I'd thrown all that stuff in there. So this is where I write my books. And you know what? It's hard work. I try really hard to write them in a chatty, friendly way. I throw jokes in there, puns and stuff. But it turns out to be very hard to make a book look easy. It's hard work. And the nice thing is, when we lived in Japan, although we had a pretty big house by Japanese standards, it was the smallest house our family had ever lived in. And I had to do my writing in one corner of a room where we ate and watched TV and the kids played, where everything happened. So my kids saw me slaving over a couple of books there, and they came to realize how hard work it is to write a book. It's really hard. And while I was writing this book, I made a film for PBS Frontline about Ayurvedic medicine, this ancient Hindu form of medicine in India. And this is Dhanvantari. How many arms does he have? He only has 4, which is a relatively small number for a Hindu god. And he's the Hindu god of healing, and I put Dhanvantari up there in the hope that he would push me to get done with my book on the healing of America. That was the thought. Over here is a banner I got at a pro-National Health Service rally in Britain. I love the NHS. And this is... You can't see this, I don't think, but that's a very funny chart about how screwed up and messed up the American healthcare system is. It's ridiculous. So the problem in our life is too many books, and we've moved around the world and we haul all these books. And for a while, I was throwing away books or giving away books. I had too many books. They don't all fit here, so I was giving away books. And then I went to visit a friend of mine, lives in a beautiful house in Princeton, New Jersey, and he just had this in every room in the house. Every room of his house was all books and shelves. So I stopped giving away books and throwing away books. I'm just going to shelve them all from now on is what I'm going to do. Yeah, so I like foreign languages, and my mom was German, so I kind of grew up with a little bit of German, and then I got into Latin and Greek. So here's all my Latin and Greek here. And then later in life, I got into Chinese and Japanese, and this will amaze you, but as a matter of fact, knowing Latin really helped me learn Japanese. They're completely different languages. But if you know Latin, the Romans were engineers. It's such a well-structured language, it helps you learn anything. So here are all these Japanese books of mine. This is my so-called leisure reading. It's not very leisurely. So here's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to read Genji Monogatari, The Tale of Genji. This is the great Japanese epic. Was written in 1000 AD. It's very hard to read. Nobody in Japan can read it. So I'm reading this translation of it that was done for Japanese middle schoolers and high schoolers. And even so, I have to look up like every word. Can you see that? And so I'm reading the book. Just when I get stuck, I have this very good translation of Genji here that I have to dig through to find out. Here I have the actual original text of Genji, just in case I want to know how it was really written before the guy simplified it for Japanese teenagers. And then here's the magic tool. This is an electronic dictionary. This has 5 books in it. It has a Japanese-English dictionary, an English-Japanese dictionary, a Japanese-Japanese dictionary, a Japanese history encyclopedia, and a dictionary of 5,000 Chinese characters. So they're all in here. I'd have many more books on my lap if it weren't for this fabulous digital dictionary. You can just write the kanji here, and it looks it up, shoujo. See, I found shoujo right there, and instead of having to look it up the normal way in a Japanese dictionary, which is very complicated, you just write the two characters here, and there they are, shoujo. So this is such a great tool. It really changed my life for the better.